Why can't I find the page?
Well, hello, guys and girls. Welcome to episode 4 of That's Racing. Today, our two guests obviously need no introduction. We've seen them floating around the internet recently, but also more importantly around the world and tracks in America. So, Andrew, Herman, thanks for joining us.
Welcome, guys.
Thanks,
guys,
Thank
for
you.
coming.
What's up?
Hey, Ashraf.
Hey, man.
How you going?
I feel like I'm going to get ripped.
So both Andrew and Herman are here today to share a little bit about it, or a little insight into their experiences overseas. Tell us a little bit about their products, what they do, and what's in the pipeline for 2024. I'll start off with Andrew. Andrew, I think it's a bit different for you to be on the receiving end of the questions this time around. Does it make you feel a little awkward?
Oh, look, Ashraf makes me feel a little awkward. The rest of you guys perfectly fine. I've done a few podcasts, so it's pretty good, but I don't know. The nervousness is over here.
Hopefully we'll get into the swing of things.
He's got no trouble talking. He'll be fine.
Yeah, you might have to
I've
actually hold me
heard him
back.
talk. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Talkins.
You guys have got like 65 hours of data storage here, right? Okay, cool. Just checking.
No, so in all seriousness, tell us a little bit about Motive Video, where the idea come from, obviously did you expect it to grow into the juggernaut that it is today?
Look, when I started it, I used to work for Ignition DVD. I was a commentator. I worked for AutoSalon. There's a whole life history before Motive even, and then Ignition basically closed down. I was in the US working for D Sport magazine, making their DVD. And basically when Ignition closed up, I'm like, well, what do I do now? I've got no money, I've got nothing. And then D Sport said, well, we'll pay you for the first DVD up front. And then I rang Gup from Power Cruise and said, can I host your DVDs? Can I make them instead? And he went, sure. So I basically flew back and had 50 cents to my name when I got on the plane, got off, had some money paid for like the first job up front, and then set up my production company, Jet Multimedia. I was actually upstairs at CID back in end of 2008. So they let me have rent free to start my business, and then just kind of went from there. And then Motive essentially was the stuff I wanted to do and showcase, while the production company was, what you get paid to do. And the whole idea of Motive was, what is your motive? Drift, drag, street, circuit, show. What is your motive? And that was kind of like what started it. And then there wasn't a great plan at the start. It just kind of started. And me being a GTR fanatic is probably incredibly biased towards them, and unashamedly as well.
It's
obviously
then
led down that path.
A lot of people don't. So.
I'm biased as hell. I'm sorry. And that's the thing, right? I still do like a lot of other cars and love driving different stuff and showcasing different stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're allowed to have your own personal passion, even if you do look at everything. So personal passion was GDRs, and that's obviously led a long way.
Nice.
So obviously with Motive comes the things that we've sort of grown into today, and that's the GDR Challenge, the Drag Battle, and GDR Festival. I think we'll start off with Cootamundra. That's coming up in April. Yeah,
it's actually it's just over a week from now. So
10 days.
And it's
10 days,
15-year anniversary this year.
Yeah, it's 15 years since the very first GTR Challenge in 2009, which was basically me just going, I want to run some GTRs down a runway because that'll be cool, because you can't race on the street and you can't go quicker than 10.99 at the time. So I told the boys from CID, so we just packed up 9 cars from Croydon and drove to Cootamundra, raced the crap out of them.
What was the fastest car back then?
10.0 150 was June 2.
Wow.
Like it was the fastest back then, it's still the fastest now.
What was that, like 2008 or something?
2009.
Wow.
Yeah, started 2009, 10.0 at 150, and it actually, we didn't see a 9 at Cootamundra for a couple of years, and then obviously, then it was the quest for 8s, and then obviously there was the quest for 7s, which is just mind-blowingly out of control.
It is. And crazy. I mean, has the format itself changed? Has the event sort of evolved into something different since then till now, or is it still the same?
Surprisingly, not really. The only thing we really do to mix it up is invite international guests every second year. I usually bring someone like 1320, TRC, things like that. I do that to mix it up, but the formula works because it's not an event, it's a film shoot, right? It's always been a film shoot, and it's meant to showcase the cars, the workshops, the drivers, and that's it. That's it, and that's what it keeps doing, and that's what people around the world want to see. They want to see the best cars come to Cootamundra, try and get down a strip that has not a lot of grip, and it's pretty entertaining, and that doesn't change. You don't need to change it.
And it's always had that exclusive feel about it, that you don't go public, it doesn't go live. Are you going to continue to do that?
I have to, because we can't have spectators. So it's a double-edged business sword, right? Like if you're allowed to have 5,000 spectators, well then everyone get your phone out and film it. But if
100%.
there's no spectators and it's all about us creating YouTube content, well, you don't get a Hollywood movie and release it all early, right?
Yeah.
But we're the same. We're doing that event is a film shoot. So if we don't release our film shoot as ours, then there's no point doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So what would you say is the reason, like what is the drive behind the success? Like what do you think caused it to continuously, be successful for 15 years straight?
There's a couple of elements to that. One of them is obvious. I think it's got a lot to do with it was a challenge for a lot of people, and it can actually frustrate. I've seen people leave frustrated and angry and come back. Who goes to an event, gets pissed off and comes back, right? And you know who I'm talking about. He's done it plenty of times. It started off as a novelty, and you could run a car without a cage quicker than 10.99. Obviously, that rule has since changed. And because it's a film shoot, we still have plenty of safety regulations there, but you can run like a 950, no problem, in your 32 GDR without a cage before we start, going. So that was what was part of it. Then it was the rivalry got started, the competition. And then obviously another big part is a weekend away. A lot of guys go there.
Give us one of your favourite moments. Give us one of your favourite moments and one of the worst moments.
One of the favourite moments was actually watching Rob Arbolino clean a RB26 head in a bathtub at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, I remember that.
While we're all partying, get King 32 running to break the
It looked
record
like
again.
someone was given like a cesarean birth or something in the bathtub.
We were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that yesterday.
Yesterday at Anthony's house.
Saturday night,
I said,
what the hell?
Rami saw that image and he ran with it.
It looked
mate.
like someone
Yeah,
giving
man.
emergency birth.
That lasted for about 15 years, that image,
Yeah.
mate.
The 797 was a huge thing as well. There's every time a record gets broken, there's a great celebration.
Yeah.
But seeing a 797 and knowing that we may not ever see it again, because we basically said once a Pro Street GDR runs a 7, that's it. We've got to stop. Like it's getting out of
dangerous.
control. It was
The
dangerous.
accident that had happened recently
Correct.
was.
So would
sort
that
of
be
an
one of
eye-opener.
the? Yeah, would that be one of the
It was terrifying.
worst things that
It was absolutely completely terrifying
Yeah.
to see that happen. And walking up there, didn't know what I was going to see. It's that show that tells you as an event promoter / event organizer, etc. That's like your worst nightmare,
course,
right?
yeah,
Like,
of course.
and there it's even slightly worse again compared to the drag strip, because a lot more of it is on my shoulders as opposed to the track's shoulders, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like
of
if you have
course.
an accident at the track, you can go, well,
You got IHRA.
IHRA and all that sort of stuff. Well, for me, it's like,
It was all you.
It's all on your shoulders.
correct.
It's your doing.
Oh yeah, it's terrifying. I'm glad he made it through, and obviously
Absolutely.
it teaches
Good
a
to-
lesson. That
good to have me
documentary
still,
did
yeah.
that, so yeah.
So tell us, we got big news this year. You got Matuk coming back, huh?
Yeah, he's back.
Who said sorry first? That's what I want to know.
I was there.
Well,
You're the
Sorry
mediator.
at the first. At the same time, it was identical.
It's an official statement.
As a statement.
Herman reached out to both of us and said, "You two idiots, fix it," and that's all anyone needs to know.
Okay,
right?
perfect.
That's
What
honestly,
cars has he got coming?
Or
What's
well, he wants to break the record for the most amount of cars ever taken to Cootamundra, so he's got to bring.
I think he's got that
14.
already.
Yeah, so RH7s.
No, it's all clean slate. He's got to start.
Yeah.
RH7.
So end up rocking up now, if that's the case.
RH7 is obviously coming. He's dying to come back. So Pele's coming. Aaron Stubbs is coming. Moe's new Hell 34 is coming. I've heard maybe Death Wish is going to get put back together in time. Maybe.
Yeah.
And there's more apparently.
Any
That's-
Mac cars coming? Oh, that's part of the Matuk screw,
no,
right?
You don't sound
not this
happy.
time round.
So,
So-
yeah, there's a bunch. So
Cool.
And
Up-
we're getting more interest every day.
Nice. Apart from the Matux cars that are coming, what other big cars do we know have entered from other shops?
Obviously, B2R have got a big fleet of cars. They're looking at bringing Strapped, looking at bringing RHM, A2R, Boogeyman potentially as well. Obviously, the new King GDR from Matux, I forgot to mention, he's coming from Winning Roll Racing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Iguana.
that's coming.
What's his name?
What's his name?
Wow.
Iguana.
Wow, I'm not going to
Eugene. Say it. Can you spell it?
Oh,
What did he? Well, how was he pronouncing that name for you?
Iguana.
Iguana.
Congrats, Iguana. I'm like, who the hell is Iguana?
That
It's
was-
Eugene. Sorry, Eugene.
Wow.
Probably why he never took me serious.
You blame him?
Sorry, what's his name?
People,
Iguana.
Sorry.
people take you seriously?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay. When there's money out, yeah.
When he bought the car, he was
yeah,
serious.
Yeah, true. Precision Racing got a bunch of cars. Obviously, the twin turbo Lambo Brigade will be there. I know Tony's pretty keen to get the outright record and mile an hour. He's already got the mile an hour record.
Who's
for a-
that,
For a
sorry?
street car.
Purple Lambo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Purple
so
Lambo?
yeah, okay.
Obviously, the Pro Street cars kind of became a retired leaderboard for the sake of competitors having a chance, right? So Tony's currently top for mile an hour. John Rick is top for ET. So
So
So-
Lambo and Lambo.
yeah.
So mile an hour. This is something I didn't know. Mile an hour is a record at Kuta. So it's not just times, and
not
that's
just
something
times,
that the big cars are chasing as well.
For True Street, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
182.
How about like?
Birong's coming. We've got CRD coming.
Yeah, CRD's coming, Birong's coming.
So all these cars are RB biased shops. What about rotors
Hang on,
and?
that's all there is, isn't it?
There's no one else. Is there any rotors coming? Any four cylinders? Any
Look
Evos?
Look at the shirt he's wearing.
The what,
like,
sorry?
I know.
Few
I
rotors
got a
around,
shot.
apparently.
what makes you
well,
think
there
there's going to
are.
be rotors there?
What do you expect the rotary to do at Kuta?
Well, a rotary did win Kuta.
Yeah, it has one in the drag battle shootout.
Thank you very
Correct.
much.
How many years ago?
The only rotor, it went once and it won.
I
Can
don't
we
know of any
clarify
four-wheel
one
drive
thing? That's
rotors.
exact. Rami just summed it up.
We've
Thank
had
you.
5
Rotary
rotaries.
went once,
Fucked
to
shit up
Cootamundra,
and went home.
and won it once and came home. Did that happen?
But
It did.
no one else bothered to race him. That's why.
Because
Everyone
that's it.
dragged
We
back.
came, we fucked shit up and we went home. We don't need to come back and redo it. That's it. It's done. Thank you very much. We took the crown and went home. Anyway,
Let it have it.
Anyway, yeah, drag battle has a big mix. So we've got Porsches, Audi R8s, Lambos. You've got Evos. We've got a couple of 1,000 horsepower RS3s coming.
Didn't you hit a bird in my car last year? You broke my front bar.
No, that didn't happen.
all right. Next question. What are your predictions for Cootamundra? Who do you think will take mile an hour? Who will take the quickest car period at this event, obviously? Where's your predictions at?
Look, a lot of people are going for smaller records within stuff, if you know what I mean.
Oh, micro records.
Micro records, yeah. I know the manual one's going to be pretty hectic. Between RHM and if Deathwish turns up and Pele, I think that's going to be a pretty wild rivalry for the quickest manual.
Yeah, Pele.
Outright though, if you believe what Anthony Matuk says, he's not leaving without the record.
Well, that's let's hope he does take it for his sake. Pretty much.
That's his exact words every time he turns up. He's not
of
leaving
course.
without it. So
Cool.
So you know your timing systems there. How do you compare that to the timing systems at Sydney Dragway? Is it identical?
identical. I mean, at the end of the day, we can get out of go to a millimetre of difference, but at the end of the day, we measure it out. It's exactly 402 metres, same as the dragway. The 60 foot's exactly the same. Obviously, it's 60 feet, and the speed trap's the same, 20 metres. And the timing gear's done by people that do Olympic timing and do stuff for supercars and rally. And like our timing guy who built that system is mega qualified, and it's one of the Timetronic stuff from the US. So it's the same stuff you find at a drag strip. So when people say, "Oh, it's off," I'm like,
it can't be off.
it's not off, man. Like the only way it's off is if I don't put it in the right spot. And even if you don't put it in the right spot by 1 centimetre, like
It's been miscalibrated.
So the next
it's still
question is,
fair.
can you bring it forward a few feet?
No.
I don't muck with it. I just don't.
Yeah, you can't. Particularly when you got these people trying to go hard out to get that record.
Good thing is with video footage, if someone tries to accuse of, and this has happened, someone goes, "That run didn't count, he staged with the back wheels." And I'm like, "Well, let me get the video footage then." I get the video footage out and go have a look. And then as you know, as the tyre goes through the beam, you see the pre-stage and stage light go off again from the back. So you know straight away, if they launch, you're going to see those lights flicker again with the back tyres afterwards. So we can go back and go, "Hey, look, check this out." So,
It didn't stage on the back wheels.
no, that's right. So it happens, but
That's the beauty of a video ref. Should bring it to roll racing. Roll racing needs video refs.
I sort of feel like the whole roll racing saga, if you want to call it that, that's been happening recently is going to sort of evolve more so at your event, and particularly Cootamundra, because it's more of a street surface and they get those bragging rights.
Look, I with Cootamundra, people go, "Do you want to do roll racing there?" We did it runway thrash, but I kind of went, "What's the point? You're going to Cootamundra so you don't go to a prep track, so you don't break as much,
Yeah,
right?"
it's a no prep environment.
So the excuse of I don't want to do drag racing because it breaks my car, I want to do roll racing. Well, at Cootamundra you can spin the tyres and it's not as hard on the car, so we stick to that there. But we are introducing some more, how can I put it, new format of roll racing at GDR Festival, but I'm sure we'll come back to that later.
Okay, cool. So moving on, we've spoken a little bit about Cootamundra. So the next event you've got after that is the GTR Festival, which is in May in Sydney.
Yep. PRP GDR Festival, 2 days this year.
Yep.
It's usually just 1 day on the Saturday, but this year we've added Friday night to it and a private test day Friday. Obviously, with how big the event's got now, we need to set up on Friday, so we also, the guys want to do a private test day. So private test day during the day Friday, but all the entrants can come and actually start setting up, traders can come in, etc. Then Friday night we're doing roll drags. And we're doing it Texas style. So
Nice. Full track.
Prep track, full track. We will have the mile an hour standings in the tower. and we will actually qualify cars.
Wow.
So when we go
Any
to
car allowed or just GDRs?
any car,
Oh, you heard it here first.
yeah.
So GDR Festival will have roll drags.
Roll drags Friday
Full
night.
track.
Full track. Start before the tunnel, and you'll
Nice.
actually go through the tunnel. And there's actually going to be a really long, staging zone for you to get side by side. Because the way they do it at TX2K, you get a run up through the tunnel, and when you get into that zone, you're probably already doing 60, and they start at 100 k's an hour. But basically this whole zone, you've got to get side by side in that zone before they do a green light. But the thing is, when you've got a short run up, you're trying to guess the light. So people are just accelerating and then hoping the lights...
And they're off the throttle and they're back on and they're
Correct.
on boost and what have you.
Well, this one is you get
Gives
to
you a bit
get
of
side
time.
by side. You're side by side for a little bit, and you don't know when it's going to go green. It could go green halfway through the zone. It could go green at the end of the zone.
Right.
And that zone's pretty long. It's like probably 120 metres long, the zone. It's huge.
Well, it has to be if they're trying to, yeah.
That's right. And then they'll go through the traps, and then we'll qualify Elite 8, Quick 16 and the rest. So the top 8 guys will only go against
And
the top 8.
this is on the Friday night.
Friday night. Yeah, 6 till 10.
Spectators obviously
Yeah,
allowed.
obviously, yeah, full open
Really
event.
popular.
Because you can't do
TX2K.
it obviously during the day because you've got the wet, you got the burnout pad and what have
Correct,
you.
that's
So It
right,
has to
yeah.
be a dry track.
Yeah,
Is
so,
there prize money?
yeah.
How much?
I don't know. Depends how much you want to sponsor.
How much are you
Well, mate,
donating,
he's-
man?
How much you
Thank
putting down, Ashraf?
Thanks for helping out, bro.
Here we go. Another Street 20 sponsorship.
We prize
There's
money
zero
for-
in the bank.
On the spot.
No,
on
there'll
the
be prize
spot.
money for...
On the-
You
How
know
much
what?
is
Straight
sponsoring?
20 should sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you should
agree.
sponsor.
I'm not straight 20.
You haven't sponsored anything for Street 20.
Some people are going to get ripped to build up the...
Man, I think that's an incredible idea. You know, I
Just
think
got to make sure we're not back.
it sort of evens the playing field
Yep.
for cars that are not full drive. Like
100%.
you'd be able to go there with Mac Daddy, mate.
Let's go. You'll be racing the
And
next day
I
as
think
well.
you should. So you heard it here first. Mac
There you go.
Daddy, roll
Full prep
race.
track the whole way. Yeah, so that two-wheel drives can do it, and you can go full power in first gear in a four-wheel drive car.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
There you go. Now it's on, mate.
Or terrifying, or both.
Is there any
Yeah.
money on the line or
Maybe an
there will
RX3
be,
might
yeah.
do good.
what's
And
on
I
the
don't see
It
it
may.
will do good.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Depends how big the event gets. I actually changed my prize money based on how big the event is. One year I did $1 from every spectator goes towards the outright winner of GDR Festival. So if 7,000 people turn up, it was $7,000 on top of the base thing.
Make sure there's good money, we'll enter.
Well, it
Your
makes it
version of good money and everyone else's could be slightly different.
a big difference.
Just make sure it's good. We'll enter something.
Okay. Just so there's a bit of clarity here. What is good?
Sorry, guys, just to cut you off, we're getting a bit of complaints about the mics being a bit maybe too close. So
Or
can
maybe
we
too loud.
Or not
Or maybe
close
a bit
enough.
too loud. So can we
Calm
just,
down.
Probably
Ashraf.
all me.
let's just push them back a little bit.
It's probably all me.
Just
That's
push
all
them
me.
a bit away from your face.
Okay.
and Try that.
All right.
All right, let us know, guys, what you
So
reckon.
back to that question, Ashraf. What is good prize money?
To be honest, I'd be happy with 10 grand if I won.
Wow.
10 grand.
Well, if
Mate-
you said $1 from every spectator, how many spectators? did
Well,
you
that's
have?
for the winner on Saturday. But let's do the same for Friday night. For every spectator that comes in Friday night, there's $1 to go towards the winner.
Well,
If
And
you
then-
can get the crowd that roll racing gets,
Yeah.
but that's banked.
So,
mate.
yeah,
well,
I'll do
like
it.
15 grand.
done.
Done.
Done. You got to win,
I've,
but
I've got a better deal here.
Yeah.
So you've said $1 from every spectator.
Yeah.
Double it.
He's going to double it.
Yeah.
He has to double it.
Yeah.
So shake on that.
You know what? Ash, you're a good bloke.
Only of you.
Imagine
The mic
if
dropped out again.
imagine 12,000 turn up. That'd be perfect.
Oh, wow.
Straight 20 should do it, I reckon, straight out.
There'll also be prize money
I'll
for
tell you what,
runner up.
Street 20 will go
Street
Harvey's
quick
with
at
you.
16.
No, we
Yeah,
won't.
so
We're broke.
that's good. So the categories for roll drags, as you just mentioned, you want to mention them again? Danny,
yeah,
because
so we're
getting
going to
cut out.
qualify into Elite 8, and
Right.
that's basically, that'll be the best of the best. And the whole idea of that is we want the best of the best to go against the best of the best the whole night. They won't have to loop back around and kind of wait in queue with 100 other cars. They get put off to the side and run when they run. Then the next group is Quick 16. That's stuff that's still probably over 1,000, but, you know.
So
not
you've qualified them based on the times
mile an hour.
throughout the day?
The mile an hour. So from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. is when it's on, maybe 10:30. But from 6 till maybe 9, we're taking all of those, like every run, we get the
All
mile
the
an hour
mile.
against their entrant number, and then we qualify them like that. So yeah, Elite 8, Quick 16, and then the rest. So that way you don't feel like you're always...
Having a race, the big guys
Yeah.
are all going to be out of it.
That's right. That's you don't
And then it's straight knockouts.
end a straight
after that.
knockout. Yeah.
I like that
Eliminations.
sort of. I like that
One
format
second,
for
let me
me.
try to get a
Works
card.
so well. Straight knockouts. That's it. You run, you lose, you
Yeah.
lose, you get it. See
That's
you
how it
later.
should be.
Now the top Elite 8 and Quick 16 will actually get paired up in a tree, so you'll know who you're racing every round. So there's no mucking around in the staging lanes. There's no trying to play games. Like,
Yeah, of
So
course.
is it?
1 versus 8, 2
Are you
versus
starting
7.
from the tunnels or
Before the tunnel.
before the tunnel?
So the crowd will actually see them come through the tunnel Like it's going to look mad, right?
So when can they jump on it? Well,
the
we
lights?
said it's when the light turns green. It
So
could be in that zone.
once they get through the water box, which won't have water in, obviously, there's basically a coned zone that goes past the 60 foot, and then but it's actually longer than the 60 foot, and then basically there's a light that once you're side by side in that coned area, the whole idea is we don't want you to guess the light. We don't want you to try and
You got to be on the
time it
same, be on
with
the
a short
throttle.
run up. We want you to be ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. And then when you guys are actually side by side at the same speed, not slingshotting or whatever, then you get a green. And you could get it at the start of the zone. You could get it at the end of the
no
zone.
one-
What if no one gets it?
Oh,
Too bad.
That's pretty
That's
good.
cool, man.
Disqualification.
What if it doesn't go green at all?
Then you waved off because you guys were mucking around too much.
So
That's
it's really
sort
at
of
the-
eliminating all the issues that's happening.
So
at
that'll
roll
be good
racing.
for us.
Yeah, so then it's the official's discretion to determine if they are
You can all
playing an
blame
even
me.
fight.
You can all blame
Yeah,
me.
but doesn't that work with Pro Street as well? Like it's not always the same seconds or something when the light drops, when you get two lights? Isn't that what I
No,
heard?
no, that's if you're doing. I know what you're talking about. No, Pro Street is just heads up racing. It's when
Yeah.
you're not heads up. It's dial your own.
Oh,
then
it
they're
doesn't,
different.
it
It's
doesn't
the
tell you when.
sportsmanship, No.
Yeah, okay.
Will the track be prepped?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've told them I want. I
Like
told them I
radial
want.
prep or just prep?
No, radial prepped for all the street cars on Friday night. Yes. Plus a good track that's prepped properly can handle both anyway. So
That's pretty good, man.
Well, it's the beginning of
Right.
something really exciting because TX2K roll racing, you're just there in America,
Massive.
and
Well,
you know
that's
to
the
have
next
that here
one.
in Australia, or to at least begin having something like that here, is
Definitely.
It was very
Great
popular.
news.
It's pretty cool.
And I'm
Yeah.
not trying to take away from what we're already at roll racing. It's meant to be a fun night in a relaxed environment.
That's
It's
right.
very social. I love that event. I go all the time. But what we're trying to do with roll drags is not the same.
That's right.
Roll drags is a prepped track that allows for like higher speeds.
It's got to have a
in
different
environment.
Name, mate. That name has got a stigma to it that's
Yeah.
What is
not
it?
going to recover.
What else do you call it? It's roll racing or roll drags, right?
Well, I'll tell you, but you got to come up with something, mate.
Yeah.
Don't worry
Let's
about
do
that.
it,
I
let's
don't
do it
mind
now. Let's call it something now. What do you got? Pick a new name.
It's roll
Your
drags for now.
icons.
I can fix the stigma, all right? I'll fix it.
That's racing.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I think that for me. I remember when the whole idea of roll drags was coming out. It was a great idea. Then you read into the rules and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Not going to cut it.
No.
Just not going to cut the mustard, mate.
I
you know?
told the dragway, if you want me to do it, I'll do it, but you got to let me do it my way, and you got to let me do it the way I've learnt from the US. Otherwise, don't
You,
bother.
you don't have to have a cage and all that rubbish.
They were great about it as
So
well.
literally just like roll racing, but they're
On a
Sydney
prep track.
Dragwagon was really good about it.
see at the start line.
Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, they're on. Bets? Let's go.
Oh, we got bets.
We need to move on. We've touched on it briefly, but moving over to a world scene, you've just come back from a 2-week stint in the
Yeah.
US, and you spent some time at TX2K. How do you compare that scene to the scene here in Australia?
You know what? Last year was massive.
I think it was
this
coming
year
out of COVID. That's
yeah, but it rained a lot. And there was
Yeah.
the Saturday, there was 3 miles worth of cars down the road. They couldn't get in because the car park was all flooded. It was grass. So we never got to see it, but there was glimpses of when it wasn't raining for long enough for people to come and flood the event. And it was hectic, like it was epic.
Yeah.
So who's to say that it would have been like that or wouldn't have been like that the whole time? It showed some glimpses of it being like a knockout event, like the other one was at Houston.
It's the Super Bowl of street cars too. Like it's evolved a little bit to have cars that are questionable street cars, if that makes sense.
But their base is street car.
It's basically a street
Yeah.
car. Like there's no pro mods.
There's no pro mod
There's
shit.
no
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
you know you're not going to see a pro mod style build there, right? But the big draw card is obviously where else do you see 3,000 horsepower Lambo and a 3,000 horsepower R35?
What are you laughing at?
I think you had a video that you wanted to show us.
Yeah, we've got heaps of videos now. We had a drag battle and GDR challenge one we've got. He's got some pretty cool action from.
Can we
the
get
event.
that up, guys? We'll just
Yeah, the GTR challenge. Get some GDR challenge. Just gives people some racing.
have a look.
Let Ashraf have a break.
I was just thinking about when you said the drag car, straight car, thinking about Coy Help.
So, guys,
I'm going to kill you.
for the viewers that are watching, let's get some questions up now so we can answer them for you a bit later
So look,
on in the episode.
non-GTRs.
So, if you've got any questions, let's start asking them.
This
and
was
we'll get them
last
up
year's
later.
drag.
Last year's drag
That was
battle, yeah.
last year's. How did that 1600 go? That was pretty.
In the nines.
The precision one. In the nines.
That came to this versus that
Say
with
there's
Birmingham as well.
a helicopter, we can fly there.
Yeah.
Well, you can go fly there.
It's a helipad, man. You can fly.
You know what? Hire a jet. I'm coming with you.
Oh, look, V10, T10, that was a good car.
Yeah.
Had no fun in on it.
Never hit by a bird.
It came back broken.
Came back.
Oh, that was nice. The black
So,
one.
how many cars are you expecting at this year's?
My mate's new
I
one.
cap it at 60.
You cap it at 60.
Yeah, because any more than that is
Too much.
You can't feature a car properly when there's 80 or 90 of them there, right?
Are we talking about Australia or
Yeah, no.
This one.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, Cootamundra next week at Drag Battle and GDR Challenge. We cap it at 60 because
So it's
my...
invitations only, or
Well, I call it by application. I feel like invitation makes people feel like you owe them something if they come. Application means they want to go,
You
and I want
review
them
it.
to go, and everyone's happy.
it's a mutual
feature.
agreement.
What's the slowest your car can be to enter?
We say 9.99 and under is basically the cutoff, but like if something's super cool and it's gone 10.2 or something, it's all right. But
Oh, cool, cool.
Back to the America
yeah,
question. Their streetcar scene or their whole scene in general on the streets, is it a lot different to ours? Is it bigger? Is it comparable?
it's just at the end of the day, we're
Like if you-
27 million people here. There's 350 there.
But like if
roughly.
you're driving down the road, do you see cars?
No,
Like,
I
that's
don't
what I'm
think so.
saying.
I
It's-
don't, it's not. When people come here, I've seen people come here and drive around and go, I saw more cool cars driving around Sydney than I did driving around.
That's what I'm saying.
Dallas, yeah.
So I'm saying like when the American guys come here, which you know, like 13,
Yeah.
20, do they
Yeah.
come and say, fuck, this scene's huge? Or this
Yeah, they
scene's
do.
big?
Like
They also say,
TRC and
where's the
1320.
kangaroos?
Yeah.
They expect to see kangaroos and koalas when they hop off the plane.
You saw that car meet we did at Cultura last year for TRC and all the stuff we did with them and Hoonigan were here and everything last year we brought over. They loved it. They think our scene is
That's what I'm saying.
like
'cause-
per capita, like for our size, we're killing it. We are. Like, and a lot of people in Australia should actually hold our own. Like,
yeah. Well done,
the
Australia.
esteem of what
Good on
we're
you.
doing.
Well, that was really our next question. Is how do you compare the two scenes?
I think there's always something
Well, I
to
think it
do
was
here.
the GDR scene.
We've
Yeah,
always got a roll
yeah.
racing on.
Yeah.
Or
How do-
there's
how do you-
Wednesday night drags. That sort of doesn't happen there.
Yeah.
So with the scenes, the GDR scenes in particular, how do you compare the two between ours and theirs?
We're
Oh,
working
you-
on it. It's infant.
It's infant there.
We're
Like
working
they're
on it.
miles behind in the RB world, but they're still doing pretty good stuff. But
Have they got interest? Like,
oh yeah,
Like we
yeah,
do?
dying
Like-
for it. And as the cars get bigger, there more people with money are getting into them. But once they see an Aussie Skyline GDR
No,
in
no.
front of them,
Once they hear
once
it,
they hear it
at
and
the
They're gonna
see
go
it,
crazy.
they're gonna
Game
just
over.
watch every guy with money sell his Lambo and go, I want a 2,000 horsepower
Wow.
Skyline. Like
so
it's
they
just-
haven't got one
let
up
them
there
know
yet.
we've got a
Like,
couple
they haven't got.
Nothing's run competitive.
8.9 is the record for a Skyline GDR in the US.
That's
That's-
fast.
Wow.
Eight,
We've
nine.
got 30
TX2K.
cars have done that quicker than that at Cootamundra on our leaderboard. Like
So
it's,
There was not one racing at TX2K, not one RB competitively
Wow.
this
So-
year or last year.
In saying that, what's the response been to bringing the GDRs
Oh.
to America?
They
huge.
can't believe it.
They
Yeah.
can't believe
They're
it. They're
bringing them
actually.
here.
What's confirmed from Australia that you know of that's going to America?
I can tell you who has said they want to go, but nothing's confirmed till it's on the boat, right? Croydon want to bring Juntu, obviously Zeus. George Ajewski's got a couple of cars he wants to bring. There's a Skyline I'm not allowed to mention. Ward GDR is a maybe if Adrian Patel is listening and watching.
If
Bring
PRP
it.
can make the bell housing.
Yeah.
Bring it, don't sing it.
Then RHM wants to go from B2R. Josh Norris wants to bring his 32. Obviously mine. Obviously Anthony wants to bring the Don and Punisher. And then obviously Murad, you're going to have your Pro Mod getting built in.
And would any of these cars enter roll drags?
Yeah,
Yeah.
All the Skyline stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, have you
That's
seen
gonna be
Billy's
crazy.
GTR in roll drags in roll racing in America? That went 236 mile, and it's serious car, man. Like it's.
On
We
song,
want to bring him
maybe?
here.
On song.
Yeah, on song from Birong might potentially go, and Birong's drag. Like there's a
few-
lot in
there's
talks.
There's 10
Well,
maybes.
Murad wants
You
to
said
take the Mac
Murad's
34
definitely
already.
confirmed though.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
he's,
event.
yeah.
If
He's
there's-
My car's going to be over there anyway.
your
so-
car's already there. So
I'm talking
Makes
about the
sense.
34 that you're going to build.
next year we'll save that
Yeah,
for next year.
Listen,
We'll,
just
we'll
put
be
it.
saving that one for
Just
next
put it out there. If there's space for a black RX3 coupe, like I know, he won't say
container
no. Throw it in the corner of a container. They send it up to America.
They
You
don't
send the
take up much
containers
room.
anyway yourself.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's different when you get invited.
We need to just send
Is
that
that
to LA
only-
with the lowriders.
Is the GDR festival that you're running over there in Texas only RB related?
No.
Anything?
No.
Anyone?
Like
No.
here.
So R35s obviously is huge market there, and we want that to be like I guess a merging of worlds. They're separate worlds in the US. There's sort of like the Skyline guys and the R35 guys don't. It's not on purpose or anything. They're two totally different
It's
markets.
two different
And we
things.
need people to bring cars to beat without
Yeah,
these,
that's right.
So, we've got to
So-
beat something.
And then we're going to bring them together. V10s are invited because we have a DCT class for drag
That's
racing.
huge
So
over
all
there.
it's huge.
DCT
So
is massive.
we want to see Lambos and R8s fighting GDRs, right? That's part of it. And then any Nissan can enter the car meet and the what we call the open lane drag racing, which is just have fun. There's an autocross, there's drifting, there's kids ride section, there's an elite car show, there's
Dyno
a
comp.
Dyno comp, yeah, everything. So Traders Alley,
That's gonna be
giveaways,
awesome.
prizes.
You're gonna
There's
have to
kangaroos
fly up.
coming, man. We have a kangaroo petting zoo for the Americans when they
Can
walk
they
in.
pet Ashraf if he comes in there?
Yeah,
Can you imagine
dress him
that?
up as a kangaroo.
Koala, maybe.
He's a drop bag.
Wombat.
Tell us about the
Eggplant.
sponsors, Andrew. You told us earlier that you got a fair bit of guys jumping on board over there to be
it's
part of it. So
a lot.
they obviously know what's coming and they
Yeah,
want to be
yeah.
a part
Are
of
these
it.
Australian brands or
American.
No,
American? No.
Australian too, but
Both,
yeah. Yeah. Obviously, Herman's the naming rights sponsor with Platinum Racing Products. His support of the event is not just, hey, I'm a sponsor. He does a lot behind the scenes to make sure the event is a better event, make sure lots of shops go. He works a lot of companies he works with in the US. He's talking to them to make sure they want to get behind the event as well. So we work together as a team beyond just he's the sponsor, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But,
great work, Herman.
Pennzoil's about to get announced as one of the presenting sponsors. Cars from Japan's presenting sponsor for the US event.
The more the merrier.
We've seen HD Works, RAV Performance, TK Auto Works, RCK Performance, RC Basement,
Drag International.
Rampage Fabrication.
All reaching out.
No, they're all in.
Oh, they're
they're
in.
already done.
Okay.
Autosports engineering.
Yeah, and then you've got like Greddy, HKS USA working on their stuff. So like,
That's awesome.
and then the YouTube account for the event's going to be like a YouTuber
Insane.
convention. So
Yeah.
just the YouTubers alone coming to the event, like we'll have Hurt and T-Pain going. We're going to have the guys from Throttle, all the ex-Hoonigan
guys,
crew,
all-
the current Hoonigan crew, Adam LZ, Larry Chen.
It's going to
So,
be big, man. I think this will be,
Yeah,
And you're going to make it an annual thing?
yeah. Every
That's
year.
awesome. The logistics, obviously, for a lot of the guys that are going from here is
Yeah.
going to prove a bit of a challenge. But once they get it down,
I think
pat,
once we've done it once,
You'll
The
know
first
what's
one will be the
expected.
rough one. But
What are the dates again, just for everyone watching?
15th to the
17th.
17th of November?
Yeah.
15th,
Texas
16th,
Motorplex.
with there'll be 2 test days beforehand for overseas cars
Oh,
and stuff like
beautiful.
that. But the plan is the pro mods are going to go to World Cup final and then come to our event because it's like a dream trip, right? That's why
100%.
you're doing it, right?
Yeah,
dream
yeah,
trip.
yeah.
And the other cars, the street
you ready?
cars,
Oh, man.
they're going to go to SEMA in Vegas, and I'm going to organise to take them to SEMA, have them on display there as a kind of a last thing. Plus, everyone likes who doesn't want their car at SEMA, right? And then,
who doesn't want to go to Vegas?
well, I've only been 18 times. Or something. And
It's one of the pinnacles in
yeah, man. And that's the whole idea
in
is
the
we want
scene
it to
is
be a
racing.
dream trip for
Yeah, it's
everyone.
racing at Maryland's.
It's a month in the States, really.
all right, well, I think we need to press on. Andrew, thank you for your time and going through
Yep.
what we've got in store for 2024.
Heaps.
Anyone that's got sort of questions and answers that they want to
I'll
put
gather
to
'em.
Andrew,
I'll
I
gather
mean,
'em.
if you can put them in the comments now and we'll attend to those or get to those at the end of the show.
Just one final question for Andrew. What is your favourite GDR?
32.
No,
which one?
Which one?
One.
Mine.
Besides yours.
No, I'm serious. Why would I build a car that's not my
All right,
favourite, right?
Besides yours.
I can't
What's
answer
your next
that.
best
If I do,
He
either
can't.
see-
He'll get fired.
I'll
from
get
everyone.
killed. I'll get killed.
Either
Why?
Matuk will stop
Everyone's-
talking to you
Have
or
I got
Sao, they will
like
stop talking
immunity?
to you.
Do I have immunity?
Yeah, you got immunity.
I actually love Goat 32.
Okay.
It's just wild to watch, right? And so is Death Wish, so it's a tough one to call. But
So a couple of questions. Sorry to
We'll
butt
deal
you
with them at the end.
at the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think just gather them all. We'll do
All
them.
right, done.
cap
I'll
me at
bank
like
'em all in.
10-word answers or something.
Yeah.
So now over to Herman from PRP.
G'day, mate.
Hello, mate.
Hey, Herman.
I've known you as Mr. Colourful Shorts.
Mr. Fancy
Today-
Shorts. Fancy pants.
Today, I don't think we should be saying it on air, but there was a new side to you that was unveiled. We'll keep that amongst ourselves.
What's
Love
that
is
about?
love. It's fine.
What's
So-
going on, Herman?
Oh, well, he'll show you a bit later on.
You've got all those parts in your car.
He wants to
mate.
talk about this.
You've got them all in your car, mate. He'll show you later.
Oh, that. Yeah.
All right,
Wow.
so obviously first cab of the ranks, PRP. When did you start that? Where did the idea come from?
I started making four-wheel drive conversions for the RB26 sump. It was probably 2013 when I had my dyno tuning shop. But then little bits and pieces, cast brackets and stuff. And it never put all that much energy into it. And then went into several other businesses and went bust a heap of times, had a great time doing all that. And then I really loved GTRs and Skylines and parts. So I got into outsourcing machining. And that was in 2018, 19, recovering from a bit of a bankruptcy.
18.
Yep. And I remember coming with a cast bracket to your, have a look at that. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I sort of started then getting back into it. And I decided in about 19, you know what, I'm going to do this full time. I love it. I love making parts. I like developing stuff. So 2020, I think I bought my first $20,000 little lathe from DMG Mori. And from then on, I think I've been one of their best customers. But adding to it and, trying to pioneer complete engines.
Have you always been dedicated to the RB platform, or are you expanding into other platforms? I know you've touched
Yeah.
into other
So
places?
we do the JDM stuff, the stuff that we used to import 15, 20 years ago, the Evos and the Supras and the S13s, SR20s, all that sort of stuff. But seriously, the RB has been the draw card for me, and people have asked me, you should do LS cam covers or this for that or whatever, and it's just like, no, I don't love it. I have to love what I'm doing, and I do love the JDM stuff, especially the RB stuff. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So recently there's been news online about some recent products that you've released, and I know you've got a couple of them on display here, and we'll get you to run through them. But can you tell us a little bit about those products and sort of what developments have happened since they've been released till now?
Sure. I mean, we've got our four-wheel drive billet dry sump with the integrated pump, 6-stage pump, and that's been popular.
Is that what you've got there?
That's the big one there, yeah, the purple one. And that's going, and when that got tested in June 2. So it's already the fastest one in the world, but it's running a lot of circuit cars and all the big shops and big, Hawkins has just put one on his. All the big race teams are running all that sort of
Do
stuff.
you want to just grab it, Herman, and just maybe run through a few things and explain what makes it different and
Go lift it
some
up.
of the development that went
Use
into
your
it?
muscles, son.
It's the floor.
Oh,
You can
wow.
hold that bit.
Look how shiny that
Looks
thing
like
is.
an AK-47 cover from this end.
Really running.
That's the Greenacre.
Sorry, man.
Internal
What does it look
flow
like for you?
plate.
So,
Blacktown.
so
bomb?
for those that don't know, right? Because I don't know, I'm not a GDR. That's the sump for a GDR.
So that's a four-wheel drive sump.
Yep.
Right? So basically that's seals on the pan rail on this side.
Yep.
And these are all the flow plates that scavenge all the oil internally into the pump.
Yep.
And it comes out the air separator.
Yep.
And then what bolts on, if you hold, you can hold that one.
So
there.
that's like the dry sump pan with the pump sort of bolted
All
onto
in
it.
Well, usually the
All in
diff
one.
is built into the sump on a GTR. So if you
Yep.
break your front diff, you basically your whole sump is in the bin, right? So now it's two-piece.
Ah,
So that bolt's on the side there.
gotcha.
And now it's a removable diff. And it's all,
So it's separate now.
it's all separate,
two-piece.
bolts together.
So how many cars are running that now? Like, is it every big GDR?
Pretty much. We've done our best to try and make every big GDR
Yeah.
run them now.
Well, that's pretty new.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we haven't seen that as of yet completely.
Why'd you go
Did you
with the
have
colour
that in
purple?
your? Are
No,
you,
because
that?
it's
Why'd you go with
it's
purple?
pretty
This
new.
is just the one off my car. Was the only one I could grab today.
He knew what colour to bring.
so is that going to be left behind here for you to put in your GDR?
When the time's right, don't worry, Herman's got me
Pretty
hooked
good on
up.
Mac 34, wouldn't it?
I've got him going. I've got him ready.
So what are they worth? Like to buy a
Heaps.
complete set, a lot of money?
Fucking heaps.
7,000.
It's not cheap.
No, it's like 18,000.
Well, that, I mean,
But the
there's-
pump alone's $5,000.
yeah.
5.5, 6
5.5,
grand.
6
So
Yeah.
was that what, a
But then you get-
3-stage, 4-stage
That's
pump?
7, 6 plus the
It's
separator.
got a separator on it.
And
So
the turbo oil drain goes sideways through the front here, so it's all. So yeah, oil drain comes into the side of the pan. There's no plumbing that goes underneath the pan. But for that, you'll also get the diff housing. You get all the bearings and the seals and the bits and pieces, the bolts and all that. You
Well, I
get-
mean, there's a lot of R&D that's gone into that. Not only that, the machining time alone would be
That's retarded.
huge.
So Herman, someone comes to you and says to you, "Why am I going to spend that much? Like it won't cost me that much to do the normal transfer cases that we do,
It's more expensive to blow them.
First of
and
all,
modify a sump."
Well, you're buying a $2,500 sump now if you can find one.
Yep.
And then you still need a plumber pump. You're going to spend 2 or 3 grand in lines and fittings. You still need the oil pump block off, which comes in the kit. You still need all the pulleys. This all comes in the kit. So at the end of the day, you're still spending probably 13,000 bucks on something that's probably still going to break.
Yep.
And at the end of the day,
If it breaks, you're screwed anyway.
yeah.
And this is
if
made for purpose.
and if
And
you
you've gotta
break
make a
this,
sump again.
well, it's a lifetime warranty.
Really?
Lifetime
Lifetime
warranty.
warranty on all
So,
PRP
we're
parts.
good.
Look at that, they got you going. They got Ashraf
Unless
going.
you hand it to us with a con rod poking through it, which has happened, we still covered it.
Which shop?
Can't say.
Lifetime warranty.
Lifetime warranty.
you know Ashraf can break that. He'll make it.
he'll
in his
break
life.
Just to prove the point.
Well, let's go. You're going to need a lot of power.
That's
and,
easy.
And you know what? If you break it and we learn something from it, then
You've done them a favour.
great.
I'm
You've helped
down.
us out.
I reckon
So
next
we're
week we'll
good.
get one.
We're good here at, That's Racing to sort of offer promotions and deals. What are you going to offer the viewers that call you and say, "We saw you on the podcast. That's Racing. This, that." What can you do for us, mate?
He's going to add 10%.
We have to.
I was going to say that at 10%.
He's going to add 10%.
Go straight to your workshop and bust their balls to fit one, and we'll look after you through them, and you get a 5% discount, and then make Matuk buy 4 or 5 of them in one go, and we're good to go. What do you reckon?
There you go.
There goes, that's the 10% increase.
I think we
people-
lost the deal
so
there when he
people-
said make Matuk buy for 5 of them.
So people can't buy direct from you.
No, they can buy direct off us. Obviously, we want people to... This has to be fitted usually
Guys,
by a workshop.
Herman's offering a 5% discount if you buy it direct through him.
There you go.
For the
So where
next
do they
6
jump
months.
on, Herman? What's the website?
Platinum Racing. Actually, PRP.world is now the website as well.
So
Nice.
we'll put that in the link
Yeah,
to
definitely.
the
YouTube link and
to the
what have you.
YouTube
Yeah.
link to the bio. And for those of you that have heard and haven't heard or are going to hear, it's a 5% discount to anyone that mentions That's Racing and buys something online direct through us or through their website.
So on to the next part that you got here, which you've just recently dropped a post about, and that's the heads. So let's we'll swap that around.
So just so we can, but while you're getting it set up, we had a quick chat outside with Herman. There's a disaster here at the moment. We had a chat outside with Herman about the head, and the things he was telling us is quite fascinating in terms of the amount of time it's going to save machine shops in working. So do you want to explain that to the viewers?
Well, we've got 2 heads. There's an R0 and an R1. None of these have been released yet. We've only been releasing news on both this and the block.
Well,
But
you know where this is going. There's got to be a release now at That's Racing. Has to happen.
we've got to come in, book in for a second podcast.
So run us through, Herman, what you're doing and what you're offering.
Well, what we're trying to offer a complete head that will come machined and ready for assembly. Now, the biggest challenge that people have with a head and why you usually need a machinist or a cylinder head shop is all of the heights for all of the valves change because the seats all change. They're all done by hand usually. And then you're chasing, a thou here or half a thou there, shimming a bucket if it's shimless, or you're modifying shims to get it to fit. And that's where you need someone usually qualified to shim the head and stuff around for hours, and it's taken me a day to do it before. But our approach is to come in with very specific tooling and get all of the heights of all the seat bases. We're going to make the seats in-house. Everything's going to be within 1 or 2 micron. So then you should just be able to get a head which comes with the right shim pack or the bucket pack and just put it together. And then anyone can put it together. Any workshop can put it together. You can go and check it and it's good to go. So we're trying to take away from the standard cylinder head machinist stuffing you around for 3, 4, 5 months a year, whatever it is.
Yes.
So people can do it themselves, or workshops can do it themselves for you and not stuff around.
So send your 10 heads, you get them all machined, send them back.
Well, that's what we're doing now, just to keep the machine busy, is just offering port work only. But our heads, and we're only going to do this with our heads because we're changing all the seat sizes, all the insert sizes, valve sizes, and the R1 head, which is this one, will go up to a 37mm valve on the intake, which is a lot bigger. So also for the machinists out there and the shops that already do their own porting, you can have the head as machined or not touched as much as you want. So you want to go and finish all the intake and exhaust port combustion chamber, you want to come up with your own brilliant idea or design, go for your life, we'll give it to you unserviced and unfinished, and you can go and finish all that. So we're just helping everyone in the community, whether it's the end user or the machine shops. Everyone needs to make $1, everyone needs to survive, but we're just trying to make it all quicker and more available for everyone, because you shouldn't have to wait for a machinist for the first one. Anyway.
If you can find a head.
If you can find a head.
That's awesome.
When's the
Trolling
ETA
on
of them being
Facebook
ready?
all night looking for a head.
Look, we're relentlessly, the amount of tooling required for these things is like, we spent all day on it yesterday. It's amazing. And the bill that I got from special tool manufacturers is like, if I had a house to sell, I've already invested everything, but if I had another house, I'd be selling the house to cover the tooling. It's out of control, but I'm trying to do it so we can machine these heads from a bare cast plug to a finished item in 5 hours, so I can do what we need to do to catch up, and also not to take away from the rest of the machining that we're doing in the shop. So I think, honestly, some of those tools are going to be, we only just approved a final quote for the last pieces we needed today for tooling, 12 weeks. So I'd say 13, 14 weeks from now, we'll have heads rolling off the assembly line. But we still have some prototype heads now that we can almost finish, and we get the average, an average machine shop to just go and finish the tunnels and do the valving and all that sort of stuff, so we can go and test them on Zeus and maybe even a Matuk car, so they don't kill me.
So that would be the next goal within the next few weeks, to try and get something off to a machine shop to get it sort of
Yeah.
all the tunnels clearance and
Yeah, 'cause we
valve
can get-
seats done and whatever you need to do, and then get them into cars and start testing them.
Yeah, I mean, we need someone to go and put guides in because we're going to finish all of that process, and guides need to be inserted and reamed, final finished, honed, and all that sort of stuff. So we can semi-finish ahead, give it to a machine shop that's used to doing that sort of work. We'll get a few in testing, start running them, you know, full methanol, a couple of street cars, one on an engine dyno, and once we're completely happy that they're good to go, then we'll start turning it up and punching them out. Same goes with our blocks. I know I just heard last week that Dart started shipping blocks all over the world for people to go and test, and it's untested. Like no one's actually run a Dart 2J block. So it's like, well, ours will be, you know, we'll have 2,000 horsepower in an engine dyno. It'll be running 6s or 7s or 8s or whatever we're going to run in a couple of drag cars, and it'll be well and truly tested. And I like to use the word proven rather than tested. We already know it's going to work,
Yep.
but, you know, it needs to go out in the market. We've got to make sure it's not going to drop valve seats and bits and pieces. So make sure the guides don't budge, make sure the head doesn't warp, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, then we're confident to turn it up. And once we do formally release, everyone that's put down a $100 deposit to get a spot in the queue, well, all those guys will start getting called up, and we'll start punching them.
Have you got a few people in the queue already? Or?
Yeah. There's probably a couple of hundred people that are in the queue.
I think I'm like first.
How do
Well,
we
you
jump
have
the
to
queue?
Yeah, I was like, Ashraf's about to ask how he can go up the queue.
Oh, look, you know, bribery. Really.
Well, at least we're honest here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've established that some of the setbacks, or the reason for you wanting to build these heads, is purely, or one of the reasons is because of the difficulties in getting machine shops to machine and assemble a head
The
in a
turnaround
reasonable
time.
amount of time.
Mate, you're buying
And
new
to
head.
find the head itself.
So that's one problem. Is there any other reason why you're moving away from a factory head to this? Are there advantages with this product?
Well, and that's what I was about to say. You buy a standard factory head. It could be 30 years old. Mac, you were telling me the other day that the new heads aren't as good as the old seasoned ones, right?
Correct,
So it
yeah.
makes it harder to find because they're impossible to find. But you get a factory head, whether it's been molested or not, and then you've got to start getting it ready. You've got to do your port work. You've got to relieve the cam lobe tunnels and all that sort of stuff. There's a heap of work you've got to do, oversize the valves. You've got to stuff around with them quite a fair bit to get it to a spot where you can even go and make 1,000 horsepower. You've got to
15
open
grand for a
chambers and all
decent
that.
Really?
Yeah,
15 grand for a decent head.
it's
That's
ridiculous.
average. That's not high or low. That's average.
And then again, you're waiting for a machine shop
Yeah.
to
You're
get
waiting
around
6
to it.
months for a head to be
There you
finished.
go.
That's how long you
would
wait.
know.
I don't wait.
You know what?
Wow.
So I
And
think
then freaking
So then
bend the valve. and
okay. So
bend the head.
then if we were to continue on with that, then they are stronger, these ones, over a
yeah,
factory
we've
head?
gone and fixed all the bits and pieces. We've given it, almost triple the deck thickness on the sealing surface, and we've changed the combustion chamber. We can go to a 90 millimeter bore now with a clover leaf shape, because obviously we can put the material back in into a casting. We've changed the head bolts, and you can run a much bigger, longer head bolt. We've gone to a 35 mil bucket, so it's off the shelf R35 GTR DLC coated type bucket. They're cheap, they're available. It's a big 37 mil valve in the R1 head. It's all off the shelf parts, but the head should come, whether you want it assembled from us or bare, it should come machined, so you can just assemble it and go racing the next day. We plan to have these heads, there's 4 variants between the street, the race, the pro.
What's the ratings on the 4?
Well, you go 800,000 horsepower, which is as low as we can get the ports to flow without completely filling them, because we've completely changed the shape. And you go all the way up to 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 plus, and that's the pro head. And it's the sort of head that we won't just sell to anyone, because you'll put it on your street car and it'll turn it into a dog. But if you can prove to us that you're going to go and make 2,500 and more, then that's the head for you. But there's nothing stopping us from having the 4 heads in the van that we go and sell merch with at an event. Hey, Herman, you got a head? Yeah, there's 2. Which one do you want? Grab it, 2,000 horsepower head, put it on race. So
That's the advantage.
that's the advantage.
Yeah.
I like
Well,
it.
I mean, I think that's one big thing that I noticed when I was in America, that a lot of the trade guys there have got parts that the racers can go and buy. Whereas he, in this instance, you screw ahead, you're sort of screwed.
You're washing one in the bathtub at 3 in the morning.
But it worked.
Yeah, of course it did.
Eat it, PB.
No one
It's a boy.
slept.
But it's always a case of, when you look back at when you do well, there's always some sort of setback before you get to
Yeah,
that point,
absolutely, yeah.
Always. You haven't gone number one without a setback,
No.
And I think most people that are in that position can attest to that.
Definitely.
But if we can
Like
solve
Mac.
the problem of the...
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
look, as everyone knows, recently me and Herman sort of struck a deal, and he's on board with some of our cars that we're bringing out in the future, and to try and spice up the scene. And thank you for that.
Welcome. It's been good.
Much appreciated.
Didn't he just give you a lot of parts for the VL that you just broke the world record with?
Yeah, well, look, the Mac Daddy's dripping in PRP.
He did it the right way. He went and broke a whole heap of records with PRP parts without asking a cent.
Yeah.
And then he said, all right, now I've done all this and I've done the socials and it's proven myself. Can we have a
Help
conversation?
support the new car,
I said,
yeah.
absolutely.
how
And that's the
you're
way
supposed
to do it.
Yeah.
That's how you really do it.
And,
Smart business.
he had the time to sit and listen to what I have to say, and I think we're both on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look, his parts and what he does is a testament to the scene. I think there's not many RBs out there that aren't running PRP products, and I think it's just going to get better and better from here on in. So,
What did you run in your VL, just in case anyone's watching that doesn't know?
661,
661 out.
yeah.
What mile an hour?
214, was it?
Yeah.
279.
270?
I don't know if the mile an hour impresses me more or the ET. Seriously.
You know what impresses me more is its third full pass.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's in,
Yeah.
It hasn't even.
So it went and won Summonat's Dyno Comp and then
That
straight out.
was the first show.
Yeah.
That was just like a, we were
Split
bored
decision.
sort of thing
We
at
were not
Ev's house
bored.
one day. Said, let's take it to Summonats and
It's the only
go
thing that
into
made me leave my
Horsepower,
office. The only time I left my office at the Summonats, I was editing at Summonats, working, corporate work.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that made me go, all right, I'm out of here.
It was pretty good, but
Yeah, it
to
was
make
awesome.
2,500 in an Aussie
Yeah.
So
V8 event.
that's the fastest VL
on the radio.
on a radio in the country at the moment. 661, 217, dripping, as you said.
What is
PRP
your
parts.
aim in that car?
Oh, look, we're not going to stop until it
Do
completely
you want to
taps
take out
out.
VL God?
Different sort of car, isn't it?
Yeah, look, we want to
That's what
try
makes it
and
better,
be
eh?
the fastest VL in the
Outright.
country outright.
And
That
I
is the
think
aim.
and I think it's doable. Like, particularly because it's its third pass.
It's
You've
its
got
third
Joe
pass.
Profab sort of.
Is it a
He's
tube
dialed
chassis
that
car?
car in.
Sorry?
Is it a full tube car?
Full tube car.
But you're comparing it with VL God that is.
Yes.
Yeah, VL God's a tube car.
Oh,
That's,
you're crazy.
That's a
Alright.
VL.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Radials are faster than slicks.
Yeah.
Just
No, look, we've come up with a good combo and it's worked, and we've put a good team together. And the boys over at Profab have jumped on and helped us, and they're going to keep working with us in the future with some of the cars that are coming out. And as everyone can see, the car just kept getting faster and faster with every hit. We actually haven't really had a full hit in the car, because that 661, it's still sort of nosedived over at the end of the track, and we sort of lost an injector. So no excuses. We still got that record, but we are very far from what we are trying to
There's
achieve
more
with
in
it. Like happy but not
Plenty
content.
more.
Definitely happy but not
Plenty
content.
more.
So yeah, we'll go out and keep going and push it as far as we can. And there's a lot of competition in that scene, and hopefully the competition gets better and it becomes like a good rivalry, like sort of like the Don the Jun and King rivalry.
Just a correction. You went 217 mile, not
217?
214.
Sorry, was that Anthony?
Yes.
Okay.
He's gonna wring your neck after this.
Well, didn't we say
I said
17?
217.
Yeah, we said 14 and then 17. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cute. It was,
Sorry-
a, nice,
sorry,
it was a
Ed.
cute little PB.
Yeah.
The rivalries are the best, though. I've had other drag racers say to me that the Matuk versus Croydon and
Yeah.
Nader versus Rob.
It's
and
epic.
King
It's-
versus Jun was like the biggest drag
All
racing
time.
rivalry,
Yeah, 100%.
period. Not
Oh,
in
you
the
need it.
Japanese world.
You
Like
need
just.
it.
Everyone runs from everywhere to see those cars race.
Yeah,
100%.
Wait,
It-
when
it
they
was
turn,
good.
when Juntu and Punisher go to the US, which obviously is probably going to be the main headline, the amount of people over there that are just losing their mind over the idea of them being there is, yeah. And the quickest R35 GTR in the world, George Dodson, Dodworth from T1, he is actually a massive Australian car culture fan. So in his interview, we've got a feature coming his car soon. He actually has been watching like Ignition and reading Fast Forwards and everything since like the 90s.
Oh wow.
So he
knows what's going on.
Yeah, he knows what's going on down here.
What cars he got?
He's got the R35 that's gone 651. He's got the quickest R35 GDR. Yeah, George Dodworth, Laser George from T1 Race Development. So it's still now it's back to being all drive. That's still a complete car. So it's equivalent to Jun and King and all that, but as a 35. It has a one-piece front end, but outside of that, the entire monocoque is still factory 35. So it's still IRS and still DCT and yeah.
So
that's-
on that, are those cars like Jun and Punisher, do they maintain that four-wheel drive the whole way?
No,
There's
they
never
never
a-
start pulling it out.
I'll get killed if I guess, try to reveal too many secrets. But essentially, picture it this way.
Does it
they
have
take
to,
off
like-
with the front wheels in the air, right? So there's only so much front bite you have at
they're
initial
still
launch.
sending drive to the front.
Oh, yeah, 100%. They actually increase the front drive as
As
the
it
wheels
goes
come down, as they go down the track, and then pull it out again later. But factory GDRs pull power in and out based on G-force and speed and
Factory
everything
GTRs
anyway.
aren't 50-50
No, they're
regardless.
not. They pull power in and
Bleed
out
them
from
out.
factory.
Yeah. And you see that. There's a gauge on the dash
Yeah,
that
you can
shows
see
you
it,
the
yeah.
engagement of that
It's a
forward
pretty
drive.
advanced algorithm in a factory car that takes ABS sensors, throttle position, lateral G, longitudinal G, speed, everything into an algorithm that works out what to have front drive. So these guys are just doing it with a Motec and just doing what the car needs.
Or a
Just figuring it out.
But
Yeah.
50-50 drive breaks the factory.
Or a
diff.
Haltech.
Yeah, or a Haltech, yeah.
50-50 is very hard to
So-
drive.
55, yeah.
50,
So the
50,
next-
50 breaks the front
The
diff.
next question is, if a GDR completely disengaged that front drive to make it four-wheel drive, would that rule it out of being
In my
a GDR?
events, yeah.
Or rear-wheel drive?
In my events, it does.
Do you mean rear-wheel drive?
But how do
later?
you know that?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If it has the equipment there, I can't get into their logs. So my attitude is as long as the equipment is there,
It's forward drive.
it's four-wheel drive.
But do you
right?
think you should be checking their logs?
How far do you go, man? Like,
Yeah,
it's,
well,
you know what I mean? Like,
Testing
it's
fuel.
Imagine someone going up to Anthony
Do,
saying,
do
I
you
want to check your
know?
logs.
Exhaust your drive shaft.
Has that been happened, or has someone been caught out?
I've
doing
had,
that?
I've heard of accusations. I've heard of people talking about it. I've stayed out of that argument, but our rules do dictate that the all drive system must be in the car and have everything that the system needs to function.
And if you're
But-
going to carry the weight, you might as well have it. Right?
Correct. And I've heard of accusations. I don't buy into it, but I've seen some logs on both sides, both camps. Anthony has showed me logs, believe it or not. He's going, look at this, Hawkins, get here, look at this. And he's shown me. And I've seen Rob's logs on certain things, right? I don't show each other everything, but I've seen them. And they do use the all-wheel drive. And where do they use it and how do they use it? I can tell you right now, if the front wheels are in the air on the initial part of the launch, why would you have drive to the front? So if you're asking yourself by looking at the video in slow motion, hey, they're literally popping the front wheel's not moving, there's no drive to the front, and go, well, why would you put drive to the front wheels in the air, right?
Yeah.
But when I can
But
tell
the
you right
second it
now
lands,
that when
you want
it comes
front-wheel drive.
down, they increase the full drive. They have to.
Are you in WhatsApp groups by any chance?
Who you been
Yeah, I
talking
mean,
about?
I've seen a few
And that's-
videos
yeah.
floating, and that's where
Yeah,
that
yeah.
whole
Sorry, Macri.
wanted to come out and ask questions. But I think the hour's up, and for us, we want to start taking some Q's and A's from our viewers about.
Well, a couple of questions. The first question that I have jotted down here would be, is there any rules with the roll drags with fuel, like fuel rules or cars in that sense?
I reckon, what do you guys reckon? We're
No.
a drag strip, stuff it.
No rules.
Do whatever you want.
Elite 8,
Bring what
Elite
you
8,
got.
bring what you got.
Bring what you got.
It's still got to be a complete bodied car. Like it's-
Nitromethane
yeah.
it is, mate.
I don't care if it's back. I don't-
Nitrous.
I
Yeah,
think
whatever.
everything but nitromethane is acceptable.
No, they can run methanol because the track
Yeah,
has the
methanol.
facility
No, I
to
said
do it.
nitromethane.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
there you
definitely
go.
not,
So meth is allowed
Yep.
at
And it should be.
roll drags. Yeah, of
Because
course.
they're going to be able to distinguish between the Elite 8, the Quick 16,
Correct.
and the rest. So there's no bias for those faster cars.
My money is on bipolar.
We got a
He
call
just
for
messaged me. He
Herman.
said he's going to enter roll drags.
Wow.
Bipolar.
Well, there you go.
Bipola's in.
Bipolar
He's
is
G.
in.
Awesome. That is
go.
sick.
And Mac Daddy's in.
There we go.
Question for
The-
Herman.
give it a
Single
crack.
cam RB30 head. Is it happening in the near future at all?
Man,
No-
it's
no
cost
money in
us
that.
much money and that much time to do
It's
a
already
twin
done.
cam.
It's
There's a
already done,
billet one
pretty
out
much,
there.
yeah.
I don't
Go twin,
know,
bro.
it's just
Nick, just go twin.
Just
go
twin.
twin, bro.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the single cam.
So
Have
what
a twin
deal
next
can
to
you
it.
do, Nick, on a twin now?
All right.
They could jump the queue with that.
I don't
Trav.
think the volume's there to warrant the spend on a single cam.
No, you're right. There's only two people going for it. Mac and George.
Hey, just to clarify, we lost an injector in the deep end. We didn't lose a cylinder, sorry. I'm getting crucified for saying the wrong thing.
You did say lost an injector.
Did I?
You did say
Yeah.
injector.
Oh, fuck you, Anth.
I can vouch for this. I've got the injectors about to get flowed, so I'll let you know which one it was.
They help palladium?
No.
So I've got
stay
an
away.
injector flowing machine, right? I flow injectors.
You tell
Yeah.
people you owe that. You
Pardon?
shouldn't. You should tell your mates you own that.
Just a couple of
I'll
months.
do it
But
for the boys.
so I had Ashraf come over one day to help me
Did he
do a set of
did he
injectors.
do your injectors?
Oh
I
my
done
god! There was
put 'em in
injector
reverse,
cleaning solution
And we had meth
everywhere.
everywhere.
Wow.
No, it was
Meth
injector
party.
cleaning solution. I don't use
perfect.
fuel, but it was everywhere, mate. And he just stood back and looked at me and like, What have I done?
No, but the funniest part was like you told him don't press that button.
It's like because I've got a button.
You
right?
told him
He goes,
don't
don't
press
press
a
it.
got
And
a
then he's going,
firing
yeah, what is
button.
this thing?
And then I've got to sit the fuel rail in, put the pins in to make sure it's all before you prime it. You know, this guy fires it, mate. 100 pounds of fuel pressure.
Bang everywhere.
But the injectors
Fuel
were
rail
good.
flew out.
The injectors were all
Because of
good.
him, we can't have red missile switches in cars because he
Yes.
just gets in and flicks them.
That's exactly what it
Yeah,
is.
so-
Boom.
Yeah.
Next,
Now you have to put in
Next
there, please
question.
press this.
we'll have another question. We have another correction. So, again, from Anthony Matuk. It went into
He should've
engine
just come.
protection, not injector failed or whatever. Just letting you know.
Anyway, he lost an
Thanks,
injector,
mate.
it went into limp mode, and
And
We
he-
didn't blow an engine, guys. Okay.
I'm just
We
glad
didn't
we're
blow
attacking
an
you
engine.
guys, right? You guys
I need to see a
Prove
compression test.
it. Show me the log.
Well, his message was, tell Murad, look at his phone before I come down.
I've been asked, would there be camel burgers at the GDR Festival? Well, if you are going to bring camel burgers, then we're not going to say no.
How about Sahlab?
We can
There's
bring
going
that
to be every
too.
type of burger. That's what I reckon. Actually, well, technically the track's in charge of catering and what food trucks are there, as you know,
Yeah.
with major events. We get a slight suggestion.
there's
of
a,
what we
there's a
would like
turn
there.
off to a lot of the vendors
Yeah.
because of the agreement they've got with their food
Who's it?
contractor.
Oh, with Gemma and what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can bring your own though. Like
You can, but they
suggest
gotta
to bring
pay
your
You
own.
can
quarter of
suggest,
it.
yeah, we get to suggest, but they've got to be approved and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
if there is a camel burger outlet that is a pre-approved by the Dragway, I'll bring it. How's that sound?
How about we just cut the camels there?
I'm excited
Do it old
about
school.
these roll drags, man. I think it's going to be.
Yeah,
Oh, we
I think
want
it's
it
gonna
like
be
Texas. We want roll drags to be
So-
wild.
Why don't you build a car for it?
Here we go.
I got a car just for you.
Put the Camaro in roll
I'll do
drag.
it.
All I know
What's
is we've
the
already got Mac Daddy going in.
I'll
it.
do your deal.
Bipolar's
We'll
going to
go
go.
Harvey's
It's
in
already
that
going to be out of control.
happening.
100%.
Yeah.
How's
So,
that?
so just to confirm, what was it? $1 for every spectator will be the prize money?
For
No,
Friday night.
he,
no,
said,
no.
he said $2.
$1 and he's doubling
You're
it.
doubling it.
He
Oh,
said
you're doubling
straight
it.
20 is
That's right.
doubling it.
I'm
That's
telling
right.
you right now, if he
Shut
does
your
not
mouth.
double it, do not ever sell him a PRP product. Ever.
Murad, can you buy me a PRP?
I think we agreed that if you got 20,000 people at GDR Festival in America, you're going to tattoo
yeah.
your car on your ass.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's now been said on 2 podcasts.
Yeah, so that's going to happen.
so it has to happen.
Can we do that on the podcast?
Absolutely.
You want to see my butt on
I'm
your
in for that.
podcast? Get
Well,
tattooed.
the camera
I just
can.
want to see you in pain.
What's the
from
tattoo
the
going to
ear.
be?
I have
Ashraf
to get
White.
my own. I've already got a GTR tattoo on my back already. That was actually my mate said if you get to how big does the event need to be before you get it? And I think it was the year that I said if it broke 3,000 people.
So you actually like GTRs a lot.
Oh, what do you reckon?
Did you just work that out? Did you?
He's got a GTR bed and everything.
Yeah, I like them slightly north of a lot. Okay.
Man, these roll drags, the rotaries there
Yeah, man.
are going to dominate.
Oh, here we go. Here we
Here
go. Here we go.
You want to bring a rotary against bipolar or Baghdadi?
Well,
Yeah, good work, man.
they might not like sort of get it together on the start. Who knows?
I can see some.
Are you listening
interesting
to what's
bets
happening here now? This roll drag is now just gone.
It
from
just
like,
got
it
competitive.
just went to
Oh,
Texas
yeah,
spec.
100%.
Yeah,
200 mile an hour cars now in the Elite
Yeah,
Eight.
yeah.
Yeah.
with
It will
That's all
happen,
it
bro.
takes, right?
on methanol
220.
and nitrous.
Yeah. Well, we're at a drag strip. Like
Well,
it's,
yeah.
Well,
we're, on a
it's a
prep,
drag
we're on a prep track.
Prep,
Time to-
methanol, what more do you want?
Lick the stamp.
Honestly.
Let's go.
and that's the good thing is you know,
Lick the
like we're
bag.
not going to like
Remember
in the
that?
staging lanes. What they do in the US is they don't actually let the big cars qualify side by side. You actually go solo. So what we'll probably do at this event, just for a safety perspective, no offense, if like Mac Daddy pulls out, I'm not going to let a 13-second 400Z go next to him, right?
No,
it's just not
of
going to
course.
happen.
Of course.
So you'll find that what we'll have is we'll have a lane for the guys that are a particular power level so that even during qualifying, they can go out and do their runs. But instead of it being a grudge match race, because they know that their mile an hour is qualifying them, they can decide, you know what? I'm actually going to hang back for 20 seconds because I'm going to do my run and I'm going to do my run. That's what they do in Texas. So the guys actually like don't
Bit of
give
data
away
also.
get data without having a race. There's no pressure of the race and you're sort of getting some data before elimination starts.
Makes sense.
So we'll probably do that as well. Like I'm not, like I said, if anyone's watching thinks they can't enter their 13-second car, you can. You can enter anything into roll drags,
Yeah.
but you won't have to go up against like a 200 mile an hour methanol car. But the crowd, they get
Yeah.
to see Elite 8, right? Elite 8 will be mental.
So, like I said earlier and touched on, this sort of will eliminate a lot of the issues that we're having at roll racing. You were there on the weekend, I was seeing
Yeah.
you there, we had a chat. What was your take on what happened after that? Because there was obviously a lot of controversy surrounding the win and stuff like that. What was your take on that?
To me, there was no take on the final. The car that was faster won, right? Look, I always hear about favouritism at the event, and it's rubbish. I can tell you right now, I'm friends with a lot of guys that work there, and I talk to them, and they could not, excuse my French, they couldn't give a shit who wins. And I don't mean that as in they don't care about people. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't have
Favouritism.
any investment in who won, and people need to get that out of their head. They really do. And I get it. Sometimes a certain thing, you might perceive it as favoritism. I've copped that at my events before, but I can tell you right now, I have no desire to twist something for someone else to win. The car that wins.
Well, you can't. Like, I mean, if you did that, then the event's going to fail really fast.
Correct. And,
you know?
Yeah.
And I think as a promoter and, you know, we're sort of doing our own little small thing on the side, nowhere near what, you know, the scale that you guys are at. But I think for the most part, if you did have that bias towards or favoritism towards someone, people just won't come.
Well, the officials made the calls. No one really sort of from any camp
no one
really
argued.
Yeah, no one really argued. So you know, at the end of the day,
it's only the online stuff that happens after, you know. But
that's good banter.
That's expected, you know, and that's sort of what keeps
But you know
it going.
what? It makes every shot push.
Yeah.
That's it.
Same.
Like next roll racing, this guy wants to beat that guy.
So at the roll drags, are you going to be the guy that sort of dictates
No,
when
I
the green light goes?
The
Fuck
pace.
no.
Dictate the pace.
So is the guy that's going to do that going to be wearing a helmet?
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be
And it's going to be
Adrian
like a
Hodgson.
stick?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
happy to-
He'll be hidden away in an armour-plated vehicle. Like, where you
I'm
can't
happy
see
to
him.
take that job on.
My tips will win everyone.
Hey,
Oh, wow. No, look,
Whoever pays me the most wins.
you want a speed trap. We want to try and eliminate a lot of those issues. And like I said, but people do need to understand, roll racing was never meant to be
That
as
fast.
full-blown serious and
And
fast. What it was.
competitive.
It was meant to just be a fun night. That's why they don't introduce what we're doing, because we're not doing what they do. I don't want anyone to think it's a comparison. I'm not trying to fix roll racing, if that makes sense. I want roll racing over there to stay a fun, social, awesome event that's massive. It is an awesome event. What
I'll
we're
sum it
doing
up.
is
I'll sum it up for you nicely.
Yeah.
Roll racing is like playing handball. Roll drags is like the Wimbledon.
yeah, that's what we're trying to do, right? But we still
Both
have
the ball
the,
sport,
Yeah,
pretty much. One's a handball, one's a Wimbledon. What's Wimbledon?
yeah, which one's Wimbledon?
What's Wimbledon?
it's north of handball, okay, man.
It's north. You know what north is? Which one's north? Are you sure?
Yeah, I learned half an hour ago.
But I love the idea of watching 200 mile an hour cars roll race.
Yeah,
it's going to be
It's
sick.
two different. It's two, like you said, it's two different ball games.
Yeah,
One's a casual.
Is it 400 meters?
Yeah,
Not quite.
almost.
So, yeah, I mean, the idea of it is just
It's gonna be
crazy.
hard. It's
Rami
gonna
and
be
I have
hard
spoken
to
about
beat
this
the
at
Lambos.
long lengths, you know, and I think it's so important.
Good.
The sport needs it.
It's going to be
Yeah,
good.
and
Yeah,
we're just trying to bring what
let's talk about
TX2K has
Gotta bring
basically
it.
to here. I'm not going to
Gotta
lie.
bring it.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to, and it's going to be a kick-ass thing. And
Yeah.
Hearing Andrew, even Texas, asking everyone, what would you do? How do we make the event fair? Roll and drag. It's like, well, hang on, what about this and DTT and you know, getting all the snippets from all the other shops to make everyone happy, knowing what happens here. Okay, I think we've got the right thing to make, or all the ingredients to make an awesome event, and no one's upset. It's going to be fair. Everyone's excited. You know, you've
I
done it
take
the right
elements
way.
of what I learned there and bring it back here, and I take elements of some of the stuff that I do here. No one in America is doing at their events, and I don't need to go into it, but there's a lot of things that we
Yeah,
kind of
we
have
can
to
see
work
that.
really hard. Like for example, the crowd here. If there's no oil down entertainment and the oil down's too long, people here like they get the shits, but America don't care. So when you tell them, oh, we're going to have a burnout car, I'm going to drift car, do demos, we're going to do this, we're going to have kids rides, we're going to have all this stuff. They go, whoa, you're going to have like all this stuff that they normally don't even bother with over there because the crowd just doesn't. Will cop
They're
it.
happy to wait.
Well, you know what? I went there. I watched some racing. They get nowhere near as many oil downs that
Yeah.
we get here.
Yeah, they
I
don't.
think it's. I don't know why.
Oh,
But-
TX2K.
Oh, TX2K was
Too
all
many
about-
barriers.
Oh, was it?
Car accidents, yes, okay.
Okay.
TX2K,
well,
they're pushing harder
every
though.
I'm
second
talking
run was
about
a
like
blown engine.
the
Yeah,
Premier
yeah,
League,
yeah,
mate.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Pro
Yeah,
Mod
nah.
League.
But when they
You know,
when they go, man.
What do you call it? The Premier League.
The Premier League.
Premier
Premier League.
Well,
We've
compare
got a
that
question.
to
Do enough.
So,
GDRs?
Andrew, just on an earlier conversation we had as well, you told us that you were gonna reveal tonight who some of the international guests would be.
Oh yeah, so obviously I like to bring international guests to our events to obviously drag battle, GTR Festival, etc. Because for two reasons: one, for people to meet them, and two, the media they take back to the rest of the world and show the rest of the world what we're doing. So we had Sakamoto last year, Larry Chen, Mickey from Throttle. This year, Mickey from Throttle is returning again. He's one of a close friend of ours now. I helped build his 32 GDR in the US, did a TV show in it. We're bringing over Mr. Tamura, Mr. GTR. So
Mr. GTR.
he's essentially responsible for the development of the R35 GTR and the new Z, and has worked on all the development team for the 34 Skyline as well, and been at Nissan for, I think he was like close to 40 years or
He's
something.
Mr.
He's
GTR.
retired. He's Mr. GTR. Like he's
Wow.
Like
he's
Brock.
legit Mr. GTR.
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
Brock.
We've got
He's
GTR
like the
gods and
father.
GTR
He's the
kings
Brock of
everywhere.
GTR.
He's like
It's
the
Abu
Matuk.
GDR.
He's like the Matuk of
His Bayou.
Australia.
Does he have any like actual rare GDRs for sale? Like,
No, he doesn't. He actually does own a 32 GTR still. Great
He's
guy.
the kind of
still
guy you
super
get to
keen.
like sign the glove boxes, like.
He, you know what? You're exactly right. He is. honestly, he's the
Can
guy.
you tell him I need to
You
sign
signs your
everything on
glove
the
box,
car?
your car's worth more. Like
I want to
it's-
sign everything.
He'll sign your
Yeah.
forehead if you want.
No,
Yeah.
that's rare.
Yeah, so he's coming. We're in talks to get Danson Dan over, who's a 35 owner, who's also an Instagrammer, actor, host, and stuff, and
Who is
travels
it?
the
That-
world. Dan
Oh, that
Rue.
Dan. Yeah,
Dan
he's
Rue.
funny. He
Yeah,
looks
so-
like Hamid Mansour.
Yeah,
And
Every time I say what I think of Hamid Mansour.
the boys from PMS will be coming down as well.
yeah, I heard. Yeah, there's going to be. There's actually, we're talking about Jay from Real Street coming over as well. So not just the guests we've organised. There's
Scotty-
actually a lot of workshops and car owners from the US that are coming over too.
Scott
so,
Birdsall.
Yeah,
sounds
Scott
like he
Birdsall's
might be
look
in
like
as
he's
well.
going to be coming
What
over.
day is GDR Festival again?
It's in
Date?
May, mate. 24th,
25th of May.
25th. Friday night is public, so 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday night is public.
And that's roll drags.
That's roll drags on the track, but we're still going to have the car show, the car meet, the showcase,
Yeah.
the Traders Alley. The event is open from Friday 6 p.m. until Saturday 6 p.m.
What you got to do for us
Here we go.
is
Here we
put
go.
a spot so we can park our veil that we're going to give away so people can come buy their merchandise. and
I was
put the
waiting
veil.
for some, like, I have to have this
I
pit
thought-
spot. Like, yeah, great. Actually,
That's what I
here's the
think.
deal. This is for the Street 21. How about you guys take, this worked really well for this style of thing. You guys have the spot, you know where the bar is up top, where they go down the stairs? You
That's
guys
where we
set
were
up-
last time.
Yeah, you guys go there.
We were there last week.
Do that.
Yeah.
Set up there for the giveaway.
We'll do that there. We'll
That'll
bring
be
our
sick.
merch.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Very good.
we don't usually actually offer that spot to anyone really. It's kind of Traders Alley's all down the bottom, but if you guys want that one exclusive spot for you guys, you have it. How's that
That's
sound?
awesome. Thank you
Thanks,
very
I
much.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
So, has it been open for roll drags for people to actually enter?
It is. Yeah, it's open right now. And like I
Okay.
said, any
Get online and to make. We have to make.
Where do they
Next
go?
15,
Andrew,
enter.
tell them where
Right,
they got to
so
go.
it's official
GDRfestival.com,
and,
yeah.
and it's up and running. It's on.
We,
Yeah.
we need to make this event huge, man.
Any guest cars? Any guest cars entered for roll drags? Someone's
Nothing
asked?
from overseas yet. Next
No,
year there
gas,
will be.
yeah.
gas here.
Oh, gas cars. Oh, I've spoken to them. I guess we're talking about, but not like
There's gonna be
I
a
haven't got
couple.
the entry form.
Yeah.
But you watch now that like this is what happens. McDaddy enters, Bipol enters, Zeta's G'd up now. He'll bring
Punisher's
something.
getting,
You'll
you know,
like-
Punisher's getting, there's money on the line, Matuk, Punisher. It's going to work out.
No, this roll drags. This roll drags is going to be sick, man.
He's,
Like, I
putting,
think-
he's putting you in limp mode. He's putting everybody in limp mode.
No,
Yeah,
it's going to be. It's going to be.
So
a
we
game
actually
changer.
I've got a meeting with the track on Wednesday to finalise a couple of things with that.
what I think is important is to get some testing done before.
That's exactly what we
Yeah.
we're going to say. Yeah, we actually are doing like a practice night. I wouldn't call it a practice night. I'd call it a run through, just so I can show them, hey, so it's going to work on the night. We are going to invite a couple of cars down for that. Ashraf's got 300 cars,
You
so
know
I don't
what
need
I'm
to bring anyone
thinking?
else.
You know what I'm thinking? We should do it on the back of a Street 20 private hire because there would be radial prep.
You couldn't do it because you got the wet patch.
You can draw it.
No, but I'm saying
Oh,
the
at
next
the end,
day.
at the end.
At least they'd have the radial prep
I'm
already
going to
done.
need an hour. Like, seriously, if you've got a race one that's 10 till 4, we'll do it from 4 till 5.
Yeah.
Dragway
I
said we
suppose
can do it on a Wednesday before
not a bad
Wednesday
idea
night.
at all.
But you
so-
need the radial prep, man.
Yeah, to do it properly, you do.
And
yeah.
I think a test day, you need to have a big car there so you can.
And we're going to have a
promote it.
test day on the Friday before that, so the track will be prepped from the private test day on Friday.
Yeah.
I think the
So-
bigger we
and
make
that'll-
this event and the more hype, the more Americans will.
Well, that's the
what
plan.
needs to happen, I think, in my opinion, is you need to do it on a properly prepped track and you need to have some big cars there.
Yeah.
That's what needs
Done.
to happen. Matt, you're there. Your car will be there anyway. Street 20 racing. So
100%.
at the back of that,
No, we're there.
they'll do some
We're
test setups and testing. And
Yeah.
I think if they can dry that water box quick enough, or even the following morning, man.
Just
I'm
air-
sure they can
air
dry the
blow.
water.
Just let Ashraf start talking a deal to someone on the phone while talking towards the water. It'll dry up like that.
All right, guys. I think
All right, I think we're going to wrap it up. We've got one more question that isn't sort of related. We've got, when is King 32 expected to return? I can answer that. It's still a couple of months away. There's still a bit more
Well,
work
on,
to be
on
done.
that, Jun was being retired, remember? And then we asked Rob, you got to bring the car. No, and the car's done. It's, it's had its day.
But Jun's retired it before as well.
Well,
so.
then again, I mean, who was
I don't
ready to
believe his word
retire
of retirement.
because there's new cars coming out and all the rest
John
of it.
Farnham.
It's we said, no, hang on, America wants to see Jun. You got to bring it back. It's got to race.
Yeah.
Has to be there. So it was like,
Out of
really? You want
retirement.
it that bad?
About 4 or 5 years ago, Jun retired as well, and then King came back out, and he came back out.
Yep.
These two will never stop. It's just
Well,
normal.
I don't care if they get reshelled, rebodied, as long as those number plates come and race together and bring what they bring. I think it'll be a show.
100%.
Andrew, we've got a question for you. When are we going to hear the Street 20 news? Remember the one that we dropped last time? Still in the works.
Yes, that's
Still
true.
in the works. We can't reveal it yet until it's official.
I forgot about that. We did say we're going to release it at this
that, yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, but we've got to wait till the next one.
Leave it to the
Next
next
week.
one.
good work, mate. Good work.
Yeah, no,
Forgets
I think
everything.
right now we need to get behind roll drags and we need to support
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
That's
It-
very important. So if we can do our part to help the guys, and make it a good event. I think it's what these promoters need. It's so important. So,
Yeah, of course.
We're there tomorrow.
I'll call you after tomorrow's, catch up with them, and
Yeah.
yeah, we'll organise a day to
we'll
do
do
that.
what we
good.
can to help. Like we obviously try and help push it and
That'd be
assist
awesome.
in any way that we can.
Yeah.
I
It's
want to
good
see 200
this.
mile an hour roll drags. That's
Yeah,
going to
Yeah.
be sick.
that'd be
Badly.
sick. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
your time.
No problem. Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
that insight, and look forward to the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for
All right,
coming on.
guys. Thanks for
See ya.
watching.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.